hidden from us, and for good reason. But where would we be without them? The sewer map of Britain is brand new tonight at 8. And kicking up a stink now, it's Jeremy Vine.
Jeremy Vine!
Is it time to nationalise all water companies? Do we need to increase sick pay? And after a big Tory donor gets a knighthood, should the honours system be scrapped? With me, Jeremy Vine. Good morning, welcome to the show. It's Friday, the 29th. It's Good Friday.
Happy Good Friday, Vine!
Eureka and columnist Tim Montgomery as well. What a panel! And this is what's on the show. First up, is it time to renationalise all the water companies with record sewage spills, followed by fresh fears yesterday that the UK's largest supplier, Thames Water, could collapse over a £14 billion debt? Should the government take back control? Then should sick pay be increased? A group of MPs have said that a boost to sick pay is overdue. They want to set the legal rate at £172 a week, the same as maternity pay. Do those who are too ill to work need extra support, or are people taking up too many sick days as it is? Then do we need to scrap the honours system? Rishi Sunak has been accused of obscene cronyism after announcing a knighthood for one of the Tory party's biggest donors. Should that spark the end of the entire system? We shouldn't be able to pay money to be made sir. We'll get your thoughts as well as those of Aisha Hazarika, MBE. After that, former men-behaving baddie star Leslie Ash joins us for a look through the papers. She'll also chat about her new play, warning of the dangers of AI. At 11:15, Storm will debate if Peter Pan is offensive. At 12:45, it's Alexis Conrad and friends, and this is how to get in touch. Oh, yeah, we've got a bit of an Easter egg contact thing here. That's nice. 020-7862-2222 is the number. And landline, 16p per minute. There we are. Mobiles may be dearer. We've got the old social media eggs here, so we've got the YouTube channel, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, X formerly Twitter, and Threads. Just type Jeremy Vine on 5.
We will do, Vine!
The YouTube channel is where we store our greatest hits in condition of great secrecy. So, Aisha, it is not long before you're announced as a new baroness in the House of Lords. So first of all, congrats. You're my friend, and I'm so pleased. I missed the news. I mean, I don't know how did I miss the news?
I think Tim messaged me immediately.
Yeah. So,
Well, I'm
you're going to be. Let's go through it. You're going to be Lady Aisha of where?
I'm going to be Baroness Hazarika of Coat Bridge in the county of Lanarkshire in Scotland.
Coat Bridge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We've actually done a little calling card. We think you're going to be quite a cool member. What about that? Lady Hazarika. All right. That's yours. That's to make up for me missing the news. There we are. That's all yours.
Thank you
There we
so
go.
much.
Will we have to tug our forelocks to you in future?
Yeah, of course. Of course. And when you do your cut, you just be ready to not go too low because you might struggle getting up.
I'm going to bow rather than curtsy, if you don't mind.
But we were rude about the honours. I mean, the Lords thing is like an honour. It's more because you're an MBE, that's different. The Lords is the job.
Yes.
You are going to have to do some work.
Yes, and it's a great honour to be asked to do it, and I'm going to be taking the Labour whip. And, the Lords is far from a perfect place. There's been a lot of controversy about the Lords. I think it does need reform. It's too big. There's been quite a lot of scandals. But I think there are also a lot of really thoughtful, decent people there. And it's less tribal than the House of Commons. And I think it is a place where if you really care deeply about politics and policy, and I think the country, you can do some really, really good work. You often look at the quality of the debate in the Lords. There's more time to think about things. The interventions are a bit more considered than sometimes they are in the Commons. So I think it's a place less for tribal politics, and it's a place to really think about scrutinising legislation and also, trying to raise issues that you really care about.
I think some wrong people are put in the Lords, but actually Aisha, I would say this private as well as public. Aisha is exactly the sort of person we have. She cares about this country. She believes in what she really believes in principles, not in politics for the wrong reasons. But Jeremy, I think the bigger issue is why I haven't been put in.
Well, yeah,
I'm a little bit concerned that we haven't gotten the balance.
I'll be raising it in my maiden speech.
Good. It's conceivable, just thinking it through now, that if Labour were to win the election, and we've got currently, let's say, the Conservative government's got a Minister for Common Sense, they may say, well, we need someone, and they come to you as a minister.
I think it falls short of the common sense thing, possibly.
Well, so it's possible. You could be. What would you choose?
I would not even dare to speculate. I actually started off in the Ministry of Agriculture, but absolutely would not dare to speculate about that. It's just a great honour to be put in, because I have, been so involved in Labour politics for so much of my adult life. So it's a real kind of honour to be asked.
But when I was looking up a picture of you to do that thing earlier, at the first I put Aisha Hazarika, and it says comedian. People forget. You go on stage, and we need more comedians in the House of Lords. Comedian, politician,
cigarette paper between them. You'll be able to make good speeches and inject it.
Okay, we are looking forward to Easter, of course. We're almost in it. Not as much as 88-year-old Sylvia Homewood from Surrey. She's marked the occasion by getting her hair dyed like a prenate in a 90-minute treatment. And I wish her well. Isn't that brilliant? And it's got Cadbury's on it. She looks tremendously serious.
You think that's brilliant?
Yeah, actually I do, Also, she looks fantastic. So by the end, I think that she's got the full Cadbury on it. She should be getting some sponsorship for this.
I was just thinking she needs a box of cream excellence.
Yeah, look at that.
And the artistry is amazing.
And 88's an age as well. That is an age.
I'm actually now seeing the House of Lords, and Aisha in her maiden speech with something like that. What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, I think that could really work.
That certainly makes the maiden speech unforgettable.
We will talk about the twists and turns on the Angela Rayner two homes story. So I hate to say it's complicated, but I'll just give you the facts here, okay? So we need to ask the question, Rayner's two homes, why are the clouds gathering? That is the question here. What's the problem with the two homes? So, bit of background here, okay? Location is Stockport of both the houses. One is in Vicarage Road, one is in Lowndes Lane. They're only about 1 mile apart, these two houses. And this is not an expensive story, by the way, it's something else. She bought the Vicarage Road one in 2007, helped to buy with the scheme she used, cost $79,000, ex-council, sold 2015 for $127,500. Bit of maths with those two, and we work out the profit, ready, bang, £48,500. If it's your prime residence, you don't pay tax, and that's what this is about. Was it her prime residence, or was she actually living at Lowndes Lane? That is the issue which is causing this mini scandal, because if she was living there, then she needs to be taxed on the profit. So what is the evidence that Angela Rayner didn't live in Vicarage Road? What is the evidence that she was in Lowndes Lane? Well, she's said to have re-registered the births of her two youngest children at her husband's address here, following her marriage in 2010. And neighbours also say that over here, when they saw her, she said, "Oh, I'm the landlady." It's also been claimed that her brother was in the Vicarage Road house, not her. She denies all wrongdoing. She's previously said she's the victim of a Tory smear, but speaking to Nick Robinson on the Today programme, she declined to release tax advice on the sale of that house unless other Tories did the same.
I'm happy if we all going to have a level playing field and we suddenly decide that Conservative ministers need to hand over their tax affairs. I'm happy to, if you show me yours and I'll show you mine. If the Deputy Chairman and the others and Rishi Sunak and, Jeremy Hunt, if they all want to say, I'll give you the last 15 years of my tax details, I'm happy to disclose all of mine as well at the same time. I've done nothing wrong, and I've given them that information. Well, I'm not saying believe me, I'm saying I've got my advice. I mean, I can't lie about my tax advice.
Okay. Now, Stockport Council has said it will review suggestions that the Labour Deputy Mayor committed tax or electoral fraud before becoming an MP. The row stems from whether she gave council officials misleading information about whether or not she lived with her then-husband between 2010 and 2015. That's slightly different because that's about whether she was asking for a vote based in a house that wasn't her residence. But separately, the police in Manchester have now said they are reassessing their decision not to investigate whether she gave false information. So at its heart, the very simple issue is whether she was claiming as her primary residence, Tim, a house she was not living in a primary way.
And none of us can be sure until we see some of this advice. I think the suspicion has grown because it was quite a long time from the moment when this allegation was first put out there in the paper and she did any interviews. There was a long period when she didn't go before the press at all. Why did she need that period? Why didn't she go straight out and rebut this stuff? There's this underlying issue. I don't think it is just the issue that you highlight, Jeremy. I think there's this basic thing. Right to Buy was a flagship Thatcher Tory policy, and the whole idea of a Labour politician benefiting, from it is. I think there's a little bit of embarrassment about that.
Or buying an ex-council. But I think that the scheme
There shouldn't be. It was a great policy. There's nothing illegal. There's a political embarrassment rather.
Yeah, sure.
About that.
It was Help to Buy was the scheme that. Yeah,
Right to Buy. Sorry, yeah.
The two. The 80s thing was buying your council.
Right to Buy.
That ship has sailed.
Help to Buy. Yeah.
Help to Buy. What you use it enables you to
Afford
get
a
your
deposit.
mortgage with a bit of government backing. But anyway, we may never know the facts here because this primary residence thing is very, very vague. She seems to have got legal advice from her estate agent, though.
Well, look, we don't know all the ins and outs of this, but to take a step back, let's just look at the raw politics. We are in an election year, and politics is a blood sport. There will be many Conservatives who want to get the revenge on the Labour Party for what they see the Labour Party did to Boris Johnson, which is hound him over Partygate, get the police involved, etc., etc. Now, Angela Rayner is a tough old cookie. She will know that she's now in the kind of crosshairs. And I think another reason why people are coming after her is she's a really big figure. She's arguably the only really left-wing figure.
She's the John Prescott figure.
She is, and she's there representing the union. She's there representing working-class people. And look, the police have to be able to do their job. I've been very clear. I'm about to go into the House of Lords and the Labour whip, but I'm not going to say the police shouldn't investigate this. The police should always investigate without fear or favour, whether it's a Conservative, a Liberal Democrat, a Labour, whoever. Let's see what happens with this. She is adamant that she's done nothing wrong. But I do think a lot of people in the public will take a step back and look at this and say, the amount of money that you're looking at, she's a very ordinary woman. We're not talking about houses that were millions and millions of pounds. She's not got kind of weird chicanery with her tax affairs, like a non-dom status or anything like that. But I do think a lot of people will take a step back and say the reason they're coming after her is for two reasons. She's a working class woman and they're coming after her, but also a lot of Tories, and Tim, you can tell me this, I think a lot of Tory men have a really odd kind of feeling about Angela Rayner.
They've got a crush on her.
They both kind of are infuriated with her because she's a really outspoken, tough fighter. But they also have kind of funny feelings about her as well.
That's funny.
Funny feelings?
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
I tell you one thing.
But do you think Keir Starmer should stand by her?
Well, I think what's interesting, what he said yesterday at the launch of Labour's local elections campaign, was that he said his team had seen the tax and legal advice, but he hasn't. And I thought he's just keeping a little bit of distance between himself and if he really wanted to be emphatic, he kissed her and there was a big public sort of demonstration of loyalty yesterday. But why wouldn't he have seen that advice? I think he's just giving him that little bit of wiggle room that if this doesn't work out in the end and Angela Rayner has to resign or whatever, he can say, okay, I was slightly misled.
Yeah, that was after Hartley Pool. That was actually kind of a couple of years ago, and now things have turned around. But a few other things just to be clear about. This story has been pushed by Lord Ashcroft, who's got a book out all about Angela Rayner. It's called The Red Queen. The launch was last week. He's done a deal with the Daily Mail, so, there's also a little bit of a background to just see. And I think Angela Rayner makes a fair point. If people are going to call for her tax return to be published, then the Tories should be publishing. I'd love to see some of this.
Well, I think
we're going to move on, but yeah, the amount she would have to pay would have been £3,000. So you could make your argument that Michelle Mone arguably has sailed off with a lot more than that. Anyway, that's the other side of the fence. After the break, we're asking if it's time to nationalise all water companies amid record sewage spills and questions over the future of Thames Water. Give us a call now with your thoughts. 0207 862 2222. There's a policy for Labour. What do you think? Where is the world's largest Easter egg? Is it Poland, Italy, or the USA? Answer coming.
Can a Lenore bed get any fresher?
Before the break, we asked, where is the world's largest Easter egg? We gave you Poland, Italy, USA.
Italy!
It was actually Italy. I wonder if we might have a picture of that. It's the tallest chocolate Easter egg, and it was 7 tons. There it is. And I don't know whether it's eaten or what. It maybe still exists. But that was the thing that doctor had in mind when he said no one should eat one Easter egg. We're live on Channel 5 with Aisha and Tim. Later we're asking if 6